In 2025, the corporate directive was uniform: integrate artificial intelligence, reduce headcount, and watch your operational expenses drop. The math presented to boardrooms seemed irresistible. Software is infinitely replicable, meaning an algorithm would inevitably demand a fraction of a human employee's standard salary. Add to that the projection that these systems would multiply worker output by a factor of 10, turning a single engineer into an entire department. Semiconductor manufacturers and global logistics providers redirected capacity towards this specialized hardware. Fabs turned out the massive volume of silicon required to train and run these models, physically building the hardware for an automated economy. Employees watched their companies actively rush to deploy systems explicitly designed to either absorb their daily tasks or eliminate their roles entirely. But by the middle of 2026, the anticipated boom in output hasn't materialized. Instead, corporate finance departments are staring down a severe billing crisis. Operating artificial intelligence at an enterprise scale is generating expenses that vastly outpace any realized gains. Take Uber. In January, the company rolled out the Claude Code Assistant to 5,000 of its engineers. By May, Uber's executive leadership confirmed they had already exhausted their entire AI budget for the calendar year. Even the tech giants heavily invested in building these ecosystems are struggling to justify the overhead. At Microsoft, internal token expenses have triggered immediate alarms. Management recently handed down a strict directive to thousands of its engineers: stop using the Anthropic-powered Claude Code tool by June 30th and migrate to internal alternatives. These massive capital outflows are occurring while executives look at their internal dashboards and see flat lines where the productivity spikes were supposed to be. The baseline calculation of automation is currently inverted. Leaders are realizing that the capital they are burning on queries is completely misaligned with the actual value reaching their users. Systems don't read words, they process tokens, the metered units of computational electricity. Initially, a flat $200 fee masked the actual cost, which hovered closer to $5,000, with developers absorbing the loss. Now, developers are pulling the plug, shifting to strict compute-based usage limits. This forces corporate clients to pay the true market rate for every single interaction. A casual back-and-forth prompt about coding architecture suddenly has a distinct accumulating dollar value attached to it. While a limited pilot program might seem affordable on paper, rolling that metered usage out to thousands of employees logging in every single day quickly becomes mathematically unsustainable. What was pitched as a one-time software upgrade has become a massive, inescapable utility bill that penalizes companies the more they use it. The problem compounding when companies try to push beyond simple chatbots and implement agentic AI workflows, systems designed to independently execute complex, multi-step background tasks. Allowing an algorithm to converse with other systems, troubleshoot its own errors, and iterate toward a solution automatically burns between 5 and 30 times more tokens per request. This chart shows the relationship between individual token prices and overall corporate budgets over the past 3 years. Even though the cost of a single token has dropped nearly 99%, the sheer volume of queries generated by these automated workflows has driven total enterprise AI spend to roughly triple. The numbers have skewed so severely that NVIDIA's vice president of applied deep learning recently stated that the cost of the raw computing power they rely on now far exceeds the cost of paying their human employees. Aggressively deploying systems designed to streamline an enterprise is instead consuming the very operational budgets they were meant to protect. Prominent voices across the industry, including former executives who have launched their own AI startups, are publicly acknowledging that runaway token consumption is a permanent structural reality that demands an immediate change in strategy. The focus is shifting away from tracking how many employees are logging into an interface. Leaders are now demanding hard data, proving that each unit of compute purchased translates into an equivalent, measurable business outcome. Corporations are realizing they can no longer treat large language models as a quick fix to trim quarterly expenses. They must evaluate them as heavy, long-term capital investments. This requires a rigid framework for governance. IT departments are being forced to actively restrict and monitor network-wide access to ensure teams are only deploying algorithms for tasks that actually generate revenue. The conversation has pivoted away from mass automation. Management is instead trying to find a direct balance between a highly competent human workforce and the precision use of expensive digital tools. Future viability depends on proving these automated tools deliver financial results that justify their high computational cost.